It's your boy Mac Ming. True story. All stories ain't true, but this one is. You already know. Alright? Check it out. Hold that. Now, today we're gonna talk about Tom. Today we're gonna talk about Tom Cross and how he got on America's Most Wanted. Or we're gonna talk about some of that. Right? And let me just let y'all know. In 1990, Tom Cross was featured on America's Most Wanted. It was called America Fights Back. And basically it was looking for him and this dude named Felipe Concepcion. They was co-defendants. Alright? So before I tell you my personal experience, you know what I'm saying, with Tom, let me just tell you, read you something from the New York Times. Alright? A suspect in the killings of two New York City women surrendered to FBI agents after being coaxed down from a rooftop where he frantically dared to shoot them, the authorities said. Alright, the suspect, Felipe Concepcion, 29 years old, of the Bronx, was captured on Sunday, a week after his case was featured on the television program America's Most Wanted. Them niggas ain't no joke. They caught him a week later. And viewers called authorities to say that he was living with his mother over an appliance store. When this story came to me, I was in my house chilling, right? And the girl from upstairs, I ain't gonna say her name, she came downstairs and she was like, yo, Johnny, Tom is on America's Most Wanted. I was like, what? Tom ran upstairs, sure as hell, we got his picture plastered all over. And the episode was called America Fights Back. If y'all want to look back at that. I don't know if they got it archived or not, but I'm pretty sure y'all can find it, right? So Milton, whatever his name is, a spokesman for the FBI, said agents and the New Haven police cordoned the street and surrounded Mr. Concepcion's house on Sunday night, right? The suspect climbed through a window and up to a roof, Mr. whatever his name is said, and then became frantic and yelled several times, I want to die, shoot me. A negotiator reassured him through a bullhorn that he would not be hurt, and within 15 minutes, he went back in the house and surrendered. Mr. whatever his name said his wife and child were with him. No weapons were found. Mr. Concepcion faces a federal count of unlawful flight to avoid confinement, accused of violating his 1987 parole, and after a 1980 robbery conviction. New York police said they wanted to extradite him. In the Bronx, Mr. Concepcion and second man, Thomas Cross, are suspected of robbing and killing drug dealers in a two-man crime wave, Detective Ray Gallagher said. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really know about Felipe, even though his sister's from my block. She used to have a barber shop. Well, she used to work at a barber shop. She used to do some ill-ass cuts, right? We knew him, but we didn't know, like, he was getting down crazy, you know what I'm saying, with Tom. Anyway, the two wore bulletproof vests and carried 9mm guns, Detective Gallagher said. Mr. Cross remains at large. The two are suspects in the February 24, 1989 slayings of two women and the wounding of a third at a Bronx apartment. In the crime, which was reenacted on America's Most Wanted, pillows were placed over the women's faces and they were shot at point-blank range. The two died instantly. The third survived. Detective Gallagher said the police believed one of the victims was holding cash for a major drug dealer, which is a story in itself from what I heard, all right? He was Mr. Concepcion. He said Mr. Concepcion is wanted for questioning and at least one other homicide and a kidnapping. Fox Television said Mr. Concepcion is the 98th fugitive to be arrested as a result of tips provided by viewers of its America's Most Wanted program. Now, to cut a long story short, short story was shorter, Tom got caught after, right? And from what I heard, he got caught in Ohio. How I know Tom is from when I was real young, back in the days. My mother's, like, best friend. And her brother used to live right next door to us. So basically, like, there's 5 apartments in my building right across the hall from me, right? So she grew up, I grew up like, this was like my aunt, because you know how women is, you know what I mean? Like when they friends forever. I came up under her like she was my aunt. So now we used to see Tom in the hood and stuff like that or whatever. That was Uncle Tom, you know what I mean? To everybody. But even though he was not my blood uncle, but you know, dudes called him Uncle Tom in my age bracket. We looked up to Tom, you know what I'm saying? Because Tom was always leveling up. Anyway, he was messing with, now the girl that he was messing with used to be, I'm not going to talk too much about her because she's family, right? But anyway, he was messing with her. He was over there, and that's, you know, I seen Tom every single day. You feel me? Now, I seen a lot of, but I never knew when I was younger that this nigga was off the hook. Now, when y'all talking about, a lot of these people, they whisper about Tom and they say things because of all the jail stuff that happened and all the, you know, controversy or whatever. But a lot of cats don't really know Tom. They never really been around him. They might know of him and seen him around, but they don't really know him. I'm talking about like having conversations and stuff like that. The first serious conversation I ever had with Tom was in '87 when my cousin got murdered. And I asked him who killed my cousin. You know what I'm saying? My cousin Hector got murdered on Burnside. And believe it or not, he told me who killed him. All right? And actually, the dude that killed him, his name was Trevor. He got locked up. He was in Attica when I got there years later, which was the last time I seen Tom in person, was then. And I'll tell you the last time I met him, I seen him in the street because he remembered that and he reminded me of that when I seen him in Attica. Now, anyway, Tom gets caught for that. I'm not going to tell you about all the stuff that we seen. I'll tell you one thing. I knew Tom was wild. One day we was in the library on 182nd, and everybody could tell you about this story on University. Around my hood, there was a lot of Cambodians, Vietnamese, Laotian people, you know what I'm saying? Korean, you know, there's a lot of Asian people around my hood in the Bronx on 183rd. And Fordham, because I'm between Fordham and 183rd. So there was, you know, all through the year we would randomly hear firecrackers and shit like that because it was always some kind of Asian New Year, right? And one day we in the library. I remember this is the library had the first and second floor. The first floor was like for the big kids, and the top floor was like for the little kids. You had to be a certain age. We used to sneak downstairs all the time, and you know, because they had a lot of things that was more available downstairs. We downstairs, and on the library there was these gates that's like mesh almost. You can't hardly even see through. We was hearing boom, 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 boom. Like, who lighting firecrackers? Boom, 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 boom. My homeboy's sister was like, that's Tom. You know what I'm saying? What you mean that's Tom? I'm thinking Tom lighting firecrackers. We ran outside of the library, came outside. Tom was bow-legged, you know what I'm saying? You see Tom running like this, with a gun in his hand. Boom, boom. Somebody running after Tom, shooting at him. Dum, 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 dum. I'm talking about in the middle of the street. Dum, 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 dum. Like behind them. So that's the first time we seen that Tom was off the chain. How I knew he was getting money because Tom used to have this mountain bike, right? I forgot his cousin name that ended up moving with him. But he used to have this mountain bike. And I remember he got rid of that mountain bike and he bought an Audi 5000. I remember when he got that shit, right? And when he got that Audi 5000, I wanted that bike bad as a motherfucker. But he gave it to his cousin. I wanted that bike. I swore that bike was mine. I think he even told me you could have that bike, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I ain't really know nothing wild about him. You gotta figure, in '87, I was young. You know what I mean? Not that young. I was already like knowing what was going on, but I was young. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I wanted to tell y'all about when I seen him in jail though. Because I could talk about all the street shit all day. And one day I probably will, but there's a lot of controversy surrounding old boy. 9 out of 10 times I don't tell people I even know him. You know what I'm saying? Just like with some other cats that got some smoke around them. Because, you know, dudes that find out that you know somebody or whatever and then they'll associate. Listen, I'm going to let y'all know now. I don't condone nothing nobody did in ignorance on the street, murders, robberies, whatever. I'm just telling y'all a story. You know what I'm saying? So don't come for me, you know. And anybody do come for me, most likely don't even know Tom. You know what I'm saying? Or been around him for a little while but don't really know Grandpa. Because that's what they call him. In jail, one thing I remember bumping into Tom was, and you know what? When I went to Attica, I forgot Tom was in jail. Honestly, I completely. You know, when you're doing your bed, I already got years in. You know, so many niggas that you know in jail. I can name 1,000 niggas from the Bronx, name brand dudes. But it wasn't like on the forefront of my mind. But who I actually was thinking about when I got to Attica, because the last person I heard was there was Ace. You know what I'm saying? From the Pay the Full movie, or not Ace Boogie, the dude that played in the movie, but the real Ace, the guy that shot AZ. And I talk about that in one of my videos. Actually, it's like my first video or second video. You can go back and look at that to find out who Ace was, right? I was thinking about Ace. I was like, I wondered Ace was here. So anyway, some shit jumped off. I was in Wendy. That's when Larry Davis and Corey Wise was there. I left Wendy and ended up going to Attica. Now, only thing I was worrying about when I went to Attica was whether or not we could have TVs there. Honestly, that's really what I was just thinking about. I wasn't really thinking about the drama and stuff like that because after you go through Rikers Island, you ain't really, you know what I'm saying? All these jails end up being the same. You either going to live or you're not, all right? So I ain't really have no worries about going to Attica, even though I heard a lot about Attica. So anyway, I get to Attica. I think the first block that I went to C block, then I went to B block, and then I went to, I think I told people before, I told the story before, I think I messed it up. Now I'm thinking about it. D block was like the idle block, so I definitely wasn't there because I was never idle. So I came in and went to C block. C block, they had the doors on C block that go like this. Not the cells, but the doors. I remember that perfectly. And I remember in C block, the cells was crazy, crazy big. Now from my window, I was able to see the corridor and the commissary around that area. It was going towards where I was at. It was going, when you looked out the window, it was like, I think it was the commissary or something over there. You know what I mean? Right next to the mess hall was the commissary. You come out the mess hall, you walk down, boom, you got the commissary over there, and then you got the admin building up there. Yeah, so it was probably C block, right? But anyway, it was definitely C block, matter of fact. It was a C block, and when you get to Attica, or when you get to any maximum state prison up in New York, you got to quarantine. And quarantine is like, quarantine is like sitting in your cell for like 2 days or something. By yourself, you know what I mean? Like you quarantine in your cell. I guess, I don't know why they got you quarantined. I think they checking security or whatever. I don't know what they doing, but they keep you in the cell for 2 or 3 days. The first day I was in that cell, that's when I met Raheem, Boxing Raheem, which I tell a story about him too, a little bit. I tell a little bit about a story about what Raheem that had something to do with Capone, from Capone and Noriega. Raheem is actually the dude that ripped them dudes up. You know what I'm saying? That robbed Capone. You know what I'm saying? He's a Muslim brother. We actually too put Raheem in that spot as Amir. He was the imam. He was the head and did that shit. So that's the perfect. Anyway, so I met Raheem the first day I got there. He was like, "What's up, Aki?" He was a young dude. He was one of the dudes, that first dude that I ever seen have waves to the side like Farrakhan, one of them niggas. You know what I'm saying? So Raheem was Muslim. He's Puerto Rican. His name is Robert Arroyo. All right. So he had an 88 or 89 number. I was on my second number, so I was on the 95 number. My first number was 93 number. And what I mean by 93 number is when you went through processing of state before you went to prison. I mean the transition from jail to prison. So anyway, I meet Raheem. And then after Raheem, I met another dude. Somebody else was on the company that I knew from another jail. I think it was my dude Giz. It was somebody dark skin from Queens. I think it was my dude Giz. And I was asking, the first thing I was asking, because I ain't want to be on the quarantine. I ain't had no cigarettes. I was dry. So I'm like, yo, is Ace in here? You know what I'm saying? He's like, nah. And he was just naming all the Bronx cats that was up in there. I think Randy Love was there at that time. You know what I'm saying? Mad Money Mark, I think. I mean, he wasn't from the Bronx. I think Mad Money was from Queens or something, Brooklyn. But I just remember he was one of the dudes that was in Attica at that time. Kid Dead Eye was up in there. You know what I'm saying? I think something jumped off in the mess hall with him while I was there. And anyway, he was just telling me some of the niggas that I might know that was in there. I didn't know Dead Eye and I didn't know Mad Money Mark. But Mad Money Mark was with me in HDM for a little while. Anyway. So he was like, nah, but Tom is here, whatever. Cross is here. And I was like, Cross. And first thing I thought about was Mark Cross, because I knew about Mark Cross from HDM. He was one of the dudes that was in the Bing early too, in '95. He was in the Bing in '95 though. He did something. I think he did something maybe in HDM, but he definitely was in the Bing in '95 because my man Drama used to talk to him a lot. Drama, they used to call Drama Brave Dave. You know what I'm saying? Drama was a wild boy from back in the days. God bless the dead. Drama's my nigga from the hood too. He from River Park Towers. That's around the 183rd area and shit. You know what I'm saying? Me and Drama got real cool because Ace and Ron Duke loved Drama because they seen him make a movie in Attica one time in the mess hall. So they knew they didn't really. I'm gonna keep it 100. They didn't want Brave Dave in that house, man. When he first got there, he used to mess with the CEO, man. I learned a lot of shit from Brave Dave. Anyway, Tom is here, Cross is here, and I'm like, okay, Mark Cross, nah, Tom Cross. I'm like, Thomas Cross from the Bronx, like that. He was like, yeah. I said, can you tell him something? You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, I wrote on the paper who, you know what I mean, who it was, you know what I mean, and how long I've been there. I've been there like a day and a half, maybe 2 days before I found out. Because I remember that first day I went without cigarettes at all. Raheem sent me, he went to the cell, I guess he was juggling or whatever he was doing. He had cigarettes and he sent me a pack of like Tedentans, menthols. Tedentans like no name brand cigarettes or something like that, or some top. Or no, matter of fact, he said he sent me a bugler pouch. Bugler pouch. I remember because we had tops in the other spot that I was in, and that was the first time I think I seen the bugler, right? And in Attica, the blue loose tobacco, and you roll it up with papers that they give you or whatever. So the boy took the note over there. As soon as he took the note over there, he came back and he asked me. He said my mother's name. He said, so let's just say my mother's name is Deborah. Deborah's son, you know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I mean? Johnny, and I was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking the nigga was gonna get on some, you know what I'm saying, on some like preaching to me and you know what I mean, like disappointed or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Because when Tom left, I was a good kid. I was like I wasn't no gangster when I was 12 years old. I was a fucking good kid. And I was real naive, you know what I mean? And one thing about the gangsters back then, you know, whatever they was doing in the street, they kind of like kept it away from everybody. They didn't let you see what was really going on. You know what I'm saying? Like Tom. Okay, I ain't gonna go there. Let me just put it this way. Let me just finish this story. I'm trying to tell a story without acting like y'all know all this shit and not reveal certain things. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I'm like, yeah. After that, Kite, a big ass, I don't know if y'all know what a draft bag is. Just think about a plastic bag that doesn't break. It's like it's a threaded plastic bag, like some sort of plastic bag. Like think about a burlap bag, but just with plastic. You know what I mean? Heavy duty bag, maybe about 4 feet high. When you put it up, he filled that entire bag up with everything. It was all food though. It was crazy food, mad snacks and all that shit up in the joint. It wasn't one of those bags that you could just turn upside down and pour in bed. Nah, this shit, you had to take everything out and design your cell up. You know what I mean? Dude came in there and seen all my cookies and shit in the window. He's like, you know you're gonna be here, though. I didn't know about quarantine because when I was in Wendy, we didn't quarantine. When I was in, you know what I'm saying, and downstate, we didn't quarantine. You know what I mean? I was in the population in downstate for a minute in Cadre. So, he sent that bag, right? And then I noticed there wasn't no cigarettes in the bag, you know what I'm saying? So I asked boy, yo, can you ask him for some cigarettes? That nigga sent me another draft bag with, I'm talking about enough cigarettes to make my shit look suspicious if the police looked at my shit. Because I think you had a limit on cigarettes. I had a ridiculous amount of cigarettes. And then he sent me all these little books of stamps. They were like mad hard and rolled up. Pulled them out. Probably about $400 or $500 worth of stamps, like literally. Like he used to throw me stamps out the window all the time too. Tom used to work in the up in the infirmary. I wanted to get up in there. I used to be begging him to get me up in there. He's like, yo, I'm gonna get you up in there. Talk to this nigga every single day. But this was when I went to B block. I went to B block. You know what I'm saying? That's what people that know the channel, whatever, or see me do an interview. I talk about the story about Killer Cat, where I met him at and shit. It was there. In B block, you know what I mean? Now, there was a big drama that ended up happening with let me just tell you this, right? If you would like, you have some dudes that run shit, and then you have some dudes that's chess players, right? Smart ass motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And he was like one of those dudes. He was like a scientist. I ain't gonna lie to you. And he controlled a lot of that shit that was going on up in that jail. Anyway, there was a kid. This is my boy Light, man. And my boy Light, I think this was Killer Cav man too, you know what I'm saying? He was a blood kid. And right after I left Attica, I left Attica maybe about March of 97, I think. One of those months in the beginning, you know what I mean? I left real early in 97 and went to Collins. But when I went to Collins, I'm hearing that Tom got it in with the Bloods. They told me that he stabbed Light up. You know what I'm saying? Now, I seen Light years and years later. We never spoke about that. But I think that it ended up being a big drama with the Bloods and Tom, you know what I'm saying? And everywhere you go, you hear, yo, Tom, you know what I'm saying? Oh, he on the list, or he on the plate, you feel me? And some niggas was saying, yo, if you was a Blood and you went to the jail where Tom Cross was at and you ain't try to get at him, it was curtains for you. You was a plate. You know what I mean? I don't know how true that is, but that's what was being said. You know what I mean? And, so while I was at Attica, when I went to B Block, I'm backtracking a little bit, right? I was in B Block. I'll be out there playing football. You know what I'm saying? First, I mean, during the summertime, you know what I mean? Like you be playing basketball and all that. You feel me? Handball was a big thing for me there too. The only thing I didn't like about that handball court though, and when I was out there was in B Block was that shit was made of wood. Like the handball, it was like this hollow. I don't know, man. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Being in Attica, let me tell you something about being in Attica, right? You hear stories about being in Attica, and they say that you could hear, like, because of Attica riots back in like 72 or 73, they say that you be hearing shit up in there, right? I ain't gonna lie. Some of those cells that you go in, some blocks is cool. Like E Block, when I was in the mess hall, that was cool. You know what I mean? I rock. That's where I met Pee Wee at too. Well, that ain't where I met Pee Wee at. That's where I seen Pee Wee again, because Pee Wee came in the 4 building right when I was leaving. You know what I'm saying? And his co-defendants was real good with me, right? So and Bilal was there too. Pee Wee, Bilal. I'm just talking about some of the cats from that dudes might have known from the 4 building. Anyway, so yeah, I used to see this nigga every day and talk to him and all that. This shit is just bringing a lot of memories back. You know what I mean? I don't even know why I'm talking about Tom Cross. But that's it, you know what I'm saying? Somebody asked me about it earlier, matter of fact, when I was live, and it sparked me to, like, let me just open the subject up, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell some more as I move along, but I want to give you an introduction of who Tom is, you know what I'm saying, and my relationship with him, you feel me? Tom's like an uncle to me. Everybody in jail called Tom Grandpa. I mean, honestly, because I know him personally, I never seen no grimy shit in him. But you never know, man. People got all type of stories about Tom, you know what I mean? But from what I know, you know what I mean, this nigga is the gangster's gangster. You feel me? He's the dude that you looked up to was coming to see. And I seen that shit with my own eyes. You feel me? So, anyway, we're gonna kick it again soon. True story. All stories ain't true. Mac Mean, you already know. Oh, matter of fact, let me just tell y'all this. Like this video, I mean, subscribe and hit that little bell so they can let you know when I'm going live or I'm putting a video up, because a lot of people saying they wasn't getting it. I found out that I probably was doing too much. I had to slow down. So just in case, hit the bell, you feel me? Share this channel with people, you know what I mean? Let's grow this joint up to 5,000. Let's hit that mark. You know what I mean? If y'all share it, it'll reach there. If you co-sign it, it'll reach there. You know what I mean? Like, straight up. And that's it. If you got any suggestions, leave it in the comments. Y'all already know I answer comments. If you talk crazy in the comments, I'll leave the thing up and just ignore you or say something smart. The point is this is for educational purposes. I'm not glorifying none of these gangsters and none of that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know? Mac mean, true story. All stories ain't true. Yeah, you know somebody gonna cap at this shit. But anyway, another thing I forgot was that they were saying that the blood shit that started with Tom was over, you know what I mean, OG Mac's brother Ty getting clapped or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly the details of that. Y'all have to figure that shit out for yourself, but I'm pretty sure that was one of the things. The reason why I mentioned Light was because I remember hearing that something happened in that exchange, you know, with the Tom, you know what I mean, in that situation. So I don't know how true it is, man. I'm just telling y'all what I heard in that situation. Anything that I know firsthand, I already let y'all know. That in particular, I don't know about. But that's just in case somebody asks about that. All right? True story. All stories ain't true.